Well, welcome to day 12 of Journey in Healing of Your Soul. This is part number 12 coming at you. As we are dealing with the soul, we're talking about the soulish realms and just your own your abilities and your passions. And so on tonight, the thought came to me of wilt thou be made whole, and we're going to take a look at this, and I'm going to see what God's going to say on tonight as we are dealing with this place of restoring the soul, getting the soul healed, and being complete on the inside. Because I think it's so important that we realize that unless this soul here, which I probably will talk about on this week, that the Bible says that He wished above all things that we will prosper in being health as our soul prospereth, which means our soul must be successful. Our soul must be whole. Come on now. Our soul must find a place of fulfillment and a place of soundness and a place of passion and a place of determination that we a lot of times miss out on. And a lot of that comes from the lack of 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 willpower. A lot of that soul power comes from a lack of where we're just fed up and we have lost the sense of purpose for life because some of the things that hurt our life had damaged us in such a way that we just don't feel like trying anymore. I don't know who this is for, but there are some of us that just don't feel like trying anymore after we have been suffering and suffering and suffering so long. We lose that passion and that zeal and that desire to want to find that complete place again, and we just are living these lives sparingly. We're living these lives just to make it through another day, and soul is tired. The soul has lost its strength. The soul has lost its value. The soul has deplenished. And so, as we look here on tonight at this very familiar passage of scripture in John 5, 5 and 5. I'm going to see where God's going to stop me at in this, but we are going to really go quickly through this, through the next few moments as we're looking at wilt thou be made whole? Okay, I think that's more than just a question. I think that that's a command that's been issued out, and I'm going to sit. I'm going to see if I can bring something out of that by God's help, of course. As we read in John 5 and 5, it says, "A certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years." Let me stop right there, real quickly. Listen, this man had an infirmity. That was something he was dealing with on the inside of him. It could have been a sickness of some sort, but whatever it was, it had created in him an ability to stay and remain this way for a very, very long time. Sometimes we get into these sickening places in our lives, and to be honest, we just do not feel like doing anything else about it. We no longer feel like we have to fight. We no longer feel like there's nothing else to fight for. So this man had been fighting with an issue in his life for 38 years. Think about that. 38 years. Can you imagine fighting on the inside of you, wanting your soul to be free, wanting something to come out of this place of being stuck for so long and not ever being able to find strength in your soul to find your healing place? Watch this. Some of our places of losing our passion and desire come from a place of where we remain too long. Catch that thought. A lot of times our soul cannot find complete wholeness and complete healing is because the position that we have found ourselves in for so long. Mark that down. Sometimes your positioning has got to change in order for God to bring a wholeness to your soul. And so this man finding himself in the same place doing the same thing for 38 years. Let's go on real quickly. It says, "And when Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been there now a long time in that case, he said, wilt thou be made whole?" Watch this. Here's the interesting thing about that is that Jesus had already was very familiar with this man in his position. God is already familiar with your position, and he a lot of times will wait till we get to the end of our rope to where our soul is just, oh God, I can't do anything else. I don't know if anybody else has been in that place where you've been so tired on the inside that it was like nobody seems to understand just how tired I truly am. Nobody else could possibly understand the battle that I faced for this long. This man had been fighting with something for 38 years, and here comes Jesus that finally comes in his life. Come on now, let's just be real. How many of us have said, man, Lord, you finally have come in my life, and now I'm at the place where it don't even matter. I don't really believe nobody has really experienced that when he finally shows up, that when God finally shows up, it for us, it's like, man, I'm just so tired now. I don't really know. I don't really even know if I really want this anymore because I've been in this place for so long. Sometimes that delayed place of God restoring our soul is an element of how bad do we want it at that point. Watch this. I know I'm super spiritual for some of y'all that are really out there that don't ever get tired sometime, and when God speaks to you, and I know you're glad to see him and you're glad to hear him, and sometimes you just really get tired of this long wait of this place in my life that I'm sick of. I'm dealing with, I'm tired of, and I just want my soul to be happy again. I just want to be whole again. I just want to be healed again. I just want to be lively again. I just want to be able to move out of this place, but I can't move from this place because my soul is tired, exhausted. Let me finish this. He said, wilt thou be made whole? He asked him a question. He said, wilt thou be made whole? What does he go on and say? And the important man said, sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I come, another step in before me. Look, he's already making excuses. A lot of times, when we're trying to get to a healing place, we always got delays and excuses. Quietly, we may not say it that way, but there's ways of, man, I'm just tired. I've been dealing with the kids, and been dealing with the husband and the wife, and I've been dealing with these church people, and I've been dealing with things. And in the midst of us dealing, God is trying to heal. In the midst of our dealing places, God is trying to heal some places. And he asked him a question, that he gave him a response of an excuse. A lot of times when God is trying to make us whole, we got excuses. Well, that 38 years at the beginning, I was all on board with my healing, but my healing was taking too long and my soul got tired. So I would rather just make up an excuse than to push myself into the next place. Let's go on real quickly. And Jesus said unto him, arise, take thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took his bed and walked on the same day. Look at that. 3 quick things he did real quick. 2 quick things. I'm sorry. Jesus told him, arise, take your bed and walk. The man got up. He grabbed his bed and he started to walk. He did give him 3 things. Excuse me. First thing that you have to realize is when God is speaking to you on a healing place, that you have to know that the restoration comes immediately inside of himself. When he spoke to him, immediately he began to gather strength again. When God is getting ready to restore you to a willing place again, he will immediately refresh you. You will become immediately awakened. You will go from a place of, I don't feel like doing this, to a place of, man, God, I need more to do, because that immediately in God has the ability to raise up everything from what's in here to what's in here to what's in here. The whole place that God is trying to establish us in, this wholeness that we are looking for him in, that wholeness, that soundness, that's it right there. That word whole deals with an element of soundness and completeness, and to make and restore into health. Come on here, somebody. The healthy place is being restored unto you, literally. Literally, whole means, metaphorically, it means teaching which does not deviate from the truth. It means teaching that doesn't deviate from the truth. So when Jesus said, arise, take your bed and walk, he didn't go away from what was true and accurate in this man's life. This was a soundness that entered him when he spoke. That was a soundness that took over him, a healthiness that quite honestly he had never heard before. There is an element of increase that comes when God begins to speak wholeness to your life, because not only did he feel it in here, like I said, he felt the wholeness in his heart as well. See, your soul, once it gets into place, then the heart starts to feel better. Once the heart gets to feel better, the mind starts to get better. So there is a collective alignment. I think I talked about that. There is a collective alignment that takes place when God begins to speak wholeness to your life. He first gave him the charge to do it. In other words, God said, "Wilt thou be made whole?" is also not a statement of will you be made whole, or will yourself into a whole place. There are things, as I told you before, that there are things that we can do, but if our words don't line up with our heart, God is going to have to do something different with us. Come on now. This whole place that took forth in this lame man. He said, arise, take your bed and walk. So when his soul got into place, he was able to gather and strengthen the things that were created for him to be dormant with. Watch this. Some of the things that have held you pressed down, you'll be able to pick those things up and move those things out of your way, because now you literally have the strength to do it. Now you literally have the will power. Come on now. You literally have the willingness to move. See, that willing place changes everything about our mobility. It gives us an inner strength that we couldn't do when we were stuck on ourselves, when we were stuck in a place that we felt like we would never get out of. This place that our soul a lot of times tends to feel in. God says, let me get your soul together. Then you'll be able to collect these fragmented places that have just been remaining there for so long in your life. And watch this. Then he said he got up and walked. That word walked in my clothes means to make one's progress or to make do of the use of opportunity. It means to make do of the use of opportunity. In other words, when your opportunity for restoration of your soul begins to find itself, this gives you the opportunity to collect the things that have held you down, move them out the way, and also progress with the opportunity to live life like he intended you to live this life the way God had called you to live it. Listen, it may be in here while you're down, and you may be attacked here in your body, but listen, when you start to feel your soul find that place, that willing place again, that whole maturity and that soundness will begin to find a collected place of newness like you've never seen before. And you'll be able to take your bed up and get that stuff that you've been sitting on and laying on for so long, that your dreams have been left on, that you have laid your dreams on for so long. You'll be able to pick those dreams up and you'll begin to progress and make movement into what God has called you to do. Will you be made whole? Is the question I have for you on tonight. Will you be made whole? Because I promise you, where there's a will, there is a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. Will you be made whole? Find your strength. find your wholeness, find your healing, get your bed, and get to what God has given you to do. Will you be made whole? Coming back tomorrow. We'll see you all soon. Y'all take care. God bless.